nobody understands quite why we're here, searching for answers that never appear. Maybe if I looked real hard, I'd see you trying to understand this life that we're all going through.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Smoking Truth TV. As some of you already know, I'm your host Nada, and we're on episode 24 today that I decided to call Surplus Energy. In case some of you are unfamiliar with the term surplus energy, it simply means an amount of something left over when requirements have been met, an excess of production or supply over demand. Basically, more than what is needed or used excess. In hindsight, I could have just called this episode Blowing Off Some Steam, but hey, what do I know? As some of you can probably guess going by the title of the video, we're going to be doing something different today. Instead of sticking to one topic and connecting the long line of dots like I normally do, I thought I would share with you a few thoughts and ideas that have been manifesting in my mind lately. The trouble is, where to start? You see, I'm not like most people you see on YouTube, and I'm not here to tell you who to listen to either. The way I see it, everybody holds some truth within them, but only you can decide on what is true and what is fiction. Take the intro for this video for instance. Would I seriously go tracking down Axl Rose for truth? No, of course not. But what he did sing at the beginning of the song Dead Horse, well, there's no denying that the words he spoke does hold a lot of value. In other words, always do your own research and always use your own discernment. But if I'm honest with you, I pity anyone who is new to trying to find the truth of our reality, especially with the massive divide we see coming from these so-called truther communities. Speaking for myself, I feel that I have been really through the ringer since taking on such a huge task in trying to figure out what's actually going on in the world we live in, and it can make one go crazy at times, and I have to ask myself, is it all worth it? And the answer of course is, absolutely it's worth it, but it's not something to be taken lightly, and you have to want to do it for yourselves. I mean, you come to a point where you have to make a decision whether you want to live a life of lies or live for the truth. I've also been playing the sponge over the few years since being active on YouTube, staying quiet, resistant to comment on people's videos and posts. I do, however, make sure I'm subscribed and hit the like button on the videos and posts I do enjoy. I mean, it would be rude not to, right? I guess you could say I'm trying to be a bit more of a reserved person, instead of running in all guns blazing like I used to. For an example, that's why I haven't uploaded much content lately, or published any of my books. For the long time subscribers, some of you may remember that the first few videos I uploaded to my channel were from some chapters I wrote from my first book, that's currently entitled Searching for Truth and Standing Firm on What Is. I started writing this book shortly after looking into the shape of the earth back in late 2017. It's packed full with lots of interesting topics that includes sound and vibrations, Freemasonry, NASA and other space agencies, the media, the education system, natural plant medicines, World War II and much more. But after a while I made the decision to take these videos down due to the more truths I learnt along my journey, and I also didn't want to put misinformation out there. Misinformation, hey? How can it be misinformation when you don't know it's misinformation? I guess all of us battle with that problem every day when we're looking for truth. But once you start to peer through the veil and realise this world is not what we're told, and you can clearly see that this realm didn't form just out of chance, you also come to realise that this world was indeed created by an intelligent designer or designers. And when you come to that conclusion, you have to try not to fall for the next trap that many, including myself, fell for big time. But looking back, I'm kinda glad I did, as it made me question myself, question other people, and also question history. And if you haven't guessed already, I'm talking about his story, aka the Christian story. Now, I'm not saying the Bible or scripture is 100% fiction, as it does hold some truth within its pages, and also does give us some hints to some historical accounts, as well as also give us some insights to our spiritual journey. Not only that, we can also see the evidence being unveiled in front of our eyes with what the Bible refers to as prophecy. But it's also evident to me that the book itself is a compiled bunch of writings that was written by the hierarchy, such as the kings and scholars and agenda-driven scribes. That also includes Constantine the Fake, the Knights Templar, the Jesuits, the Freemasons, and many more other creepy occult elite groups. And that 66-book canon that was approved and overlooked by a 33rd degree Freemason that we today know as the King James Bible is nothing more than a mirror image of what the book used to be when it was filled with the correct words and writings that gave the book a much deeper meaning. Come to think of it, if there was such a book that existed, as in the real book of the Creator, don't you think that kind of thing would be hidden away from the public's eye? Instead, we find that the Bible they give us is known to be the #1 bestseller worldwide, or what they like to say, #1 bestseller globally. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, when I wrote my books, I was still under the spell of believing, mixing blind belief faith along with truth and facts. So as you can see, this message wasn't the best message to put out there. The most troubling thing to me was, once I broke away from that spell, I started to see that very practice had been pushed everywhere and across all platforms. I mean, YouTube is riddled with Christian YouTubers telling you that their book is correct and that their God never changes. So what is it then? Did the lion lay down with the lamb, or did the lamb and the wolf lay down together? Are we in earth or on earth? Or more importantly, what is the name for this God of the scriptures that some also coin as the Creator? Some people will swear black and white that God is God and his name is Jehovah, and some will also swear on their mother's grave that his name is Jesus and he is the Creator God that walked among us in the living flesh. Another troubling thing I find about all these subjects are, if you happen to have a disagreement with any of these Christians, pastors or preachers, instead of having an intelligent conversation with them, you will witness their prideful rage build up within inside of them as they begin to puff themselves up on the knowledge that they think they have come to understand. Some will even go to the lengths to cast you out and tell you to your face you are a wicked heathen and you will burn in hell. So as you can see, they're very godlike, aren't they? If you was to ask me, ye are gods. I mean, isn't that what the book tells us anyway? Not only that, if we was to look at the Hebrew language, we also see that the Jesus figure's name is pronounced Yeshua. But what does Yeshua mean? I've already said, ye are gods, or more precisely, yes, you are gods. Granted, this is just a tiny slice of the cake, or small example of decoding this Freemasonic book. And if you wanted to dig even more deeper, you will also find that the Hebrew language was created from the offshoot of other languages, such as Greek, Aramaic, and possibly Phoenician. This is another reason why I don't take the bait when someone is preaching, Jesus spoke to me last night, or when Jesus saved me X amount of years ago, or even I talk to Jesus all the time and he talks to me. This is when I start to roll my eyes and start thinking, if this was true, then why hasn't this voice in your head told you something like, hey man, everyone is confused as hell over my name, this is what it is and this is what it means. But we all know that's never going to happen, and why is that, I wonder? Could it be because the name of God was a hijacked name that was injected into your consciousness? There is so much evidence that shows that the word God is an off-stem from the word Gawd, G-A-W-D, aka Jupiter, another fake deity that wanted to take control of your mind and mould it into a one-world religion. More to the point, both these hijacked names were taken from you in the first place because the real meaning of the word God would be guides. Now, I'm not talking about some kind of Indian shaman or anything weird and wacky like that. I'm talking about the dialogue we have within ourselves, the same voice that helps us make decisions in our everyday lives, or when we're trying to work out a problem. With what I have discovered, I may do a short video on it someday, just to show you how the word guides was turned into God and Jesus. But like I said, that's for another day. Anyway, I have lots of ideas and concepts regarding these topics, and I guess the reason I brought them up today is because some of the information is linked to some of the things I'm working on at the moment. I guess there's no harm in saying that I'm finally working my way through the long anticipated Proving We Have a Spirit video, but as there was so much information out there regarding this topic, it's been quite a struggle to try and whittle it down to the most important information. Another project I'm working on is the many names used for the Creator Bible God. I've come up with 24 so far that I'm trying to decode. In fact, let me just put them on screen and I will run through them with you. So in no particular order, we have God, Father, Creator, Jehovah, El, Elohim, Yahweh, Yehovah, YHWH, YHVH, Yah, Abba, Allah, Adonai, Lord, Master, I Am, El Shaddai, Emmanuel, El Elyon, Alpha and Omega, the Most High, Beginning and End, and Jealous. Now repeat after me, there is only one name that saves. Now before you all go get your knickers in a twist and try telling me only the name Jesus saves, don't you know when you say that, I, along with many others, hear you saying I Zeus, Y Zeus, Yeah Zeus, or even Hail Zeus. Look, I'm not trying to be condescending or rag on your religion or anything like that, but please people, go do some research. But to the people who fear not when investigating, what do you guys think? Are there any more names you think I should put on the list? If you have any suggestions, I would be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, now we have all that out of the way, what else has been bothering me lately? Oh yeah, the Emerald Tablets of Hermes and the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. So many people cross these same tablets into one and start claiming ancient aliens, the Anunnaki space giants that came to Earth to mine for gold, and all that craziness, when it doesn't take 5 minutes to find out that the Emerald Tablets of Thoth is completely fictional and was written in 1925 by a Freemason occultist who dreamt it all up, so therefore there is zero evidence to back up his claims. We're also shown pictures of these Emerald Tablets of Thoth and they look like this, but again, these are all fabricated lies and fake pictures, and all of these turned out to be non-existent. The name of the person who was responsible for writing the Emerald Tablets of Thoth was a guy called Maurice Doreal, and as we can see here, even Wikipedia doesn't hide these facts either, as it says, Maurice Doreal, born Claude Doggins, was an American occultist and founder of the Brotherhood of the White Temple. Sounds similar to Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons' OTO, doesn't it? But let's continue. Doreal claimed that during a 1925 visit to the Great Pyramids of Giza, he discovered a set of ancient emerald tablets belonging to the Egyptian deity Thoth, who he reimagined as the King of Atlantis. If you guys don't have alarm bells ringing by now, I don't know what to say. I mean, Brotherhood, occultist, claims, reimagine. This has BS written all over it so far, but let's continue so we can move forward. Doreal then claimed to have translated the text, which he published as the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, and the people believed it. I mean, come on man, are we really going to take all these claims and fantasies and believe them to be true, based off of what some weird creepy occultist came up with to push their alien agenda? I guess some of you are wondering, so why the lie? Well, just like all occultists, they love to blur the lines of people's reality, and they do this by mixing in lies with the truth, so you never find the truth. This story was most probably fabricated to overshadow the real Emerald Tablet. You see, the Emerald Tablet of Hermes is one of the oldest manuscripts we have, dating back to around the 8th or 9th century CE, and its entire content is only half a page long. Here, let's read it together, shall we? And you tell me if you can pick up on any alien Anunnaki gold-digging ruling giants. My apologies for the shoddy screenshot, but it says here, "This is an undoubtable, certain, correct truth. The highest stems from the lowest, and the lowest from the highest. The performance of wonders stem from one, just as all things stem from one substance according to a single procedure. How wonderful is his works! He is the head of the world, its chief. His father is the sun, his mother the moon. The wind has borne him in his belly, the earth has nourished him. Father of amulets, guardians of the treasury of wonders, perfect in power, substratum of lights, a fire that has become earth. Separate the earth from the fire so that it may shine for you. What is fine is more noble than what is coarse in kindness and wisdom. He rises from the earth to heaven to draw lights from the highest and descends to the earth possessed of the power of the highest and the lowest. Since he brings with him the light of lights, hence darkness flees from him. Powers of powers, it overcomes all that is fine and penetrates all that is coarse. To generation of the macroism corresponds to the generation of the microism and the operation. That is my pride, hence I am called Hermes, the threefold sage." Translation from Franz Rosenthal, The Classical Heritage in Islam, London, Routledge, 1975. But, as always, there are many versions of this text out there. Wikipedia's translation is from Isaac Newton, so all I'll say is, read as many as you can find and all that you can. But I assure you, none of them will talk about the craziness that we hear coming from, say, Ancient Aliens, The History Channel, Zachariah Stitchin, Graham Hancock, Shirley Carlson, Toe Rogan, Cat Williams. Oh, the list goes on, but I think you get my point. There is also a code in the name Maurice the Real, but I will save that for another video that I have planned to do. Anyway, I thought I'd just give you that piece of information along with my thoughts on this whole Emerald Tablets thing. Of course, there is a lot more to go along with this prefabricated story, but I will leave the rest for you to uncover for yourselves. I'm sorry guys, but I think I'm going to have to do a part 2 for this video. There is so much I have written and wanted to talk about, like the final experiment, or should we say, making an observation in a very cold place. I also wanted to share with you a few things that are going on in my personal life too, along with the progressing divide we see between the truther communities. I guess there is one more thing I can share with you before I head off. Have any of you noticed that the presidential election date in America this year is on the 5th of November? This got me thinking about Guy Fawkes, and especially the movie V for Vendetta. Anyway, not to go into too much detail, as we already know the world's a stage and these politicians are nothing but puppets on a string, but I made this, shall we say, meme to give the Americans some encouragement. So come on guys, give your governmental rulers a 5th of November they will never forget. Well, that's all I've got time for today folks. If you did enjoy today's show, please hit the like button and make sure to subscribe for future content. We are all at different levels of understanding and seeking truth in our life journey, and no one man holds all the truth, and that also goes for myself. But while I'm in this physical form, walking this physical plane, I'm going to continue to keep searching for what it is I'm looking for. So until next time, take care out there brothers and sisters, and I'll speak to you all again soon for some more Smoking Truth TV.
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants. Well, he gets.